Welcome everyone to the show. My name is James Anthony from the James Anthony Report. This is the James Anthony Report podcast. Up over at JamesAnthonyReport.com, we have posted the newest report titled Zombie Drugs, Border Crisis and 2A Rights Under Siege. The report this time focused on some things I touched on in the past concerning the drug xylazine and the effects it has had on communities in Philadelphia, especially in the Kensington area, and parts of Seattle that have been hit hard by minimum wage hikes, so-called police reform, and other things that have exacerbated the homelessness issues there. After 4 years of Joe Biden as Commander-in-Chief, with Kamala as border czar, I thought to revisit the issue of southern states with the highest violent crime stats on a year-over-year basis, and repeatedly found the great state of Louisiana at the top or near the top of that list consistently. One would think that with what the media is referring to as the Trump effect taking place on a much larger national and international stage, along with the passage of permitless handgun carry some 2 years ago, that things would be on the mend in Louisiana. But just as with Seattle and the rest of America at large, it comes down to local politics. New Orleans, a city my wife and I love for its beautiful architecture and storied history, has been overrun by the woke zombie mind virus, or so it seems. Founded in May of 1718, Nolens is known for what America was originally all about, as a veritable melting pot with French, Spanish, and African influences, and blends aspects of those cultures to include fascinating aspects of Catholicism, voodoo, and remnants of the Spanish flu that are still evident in walking tours that even now I would recommend, with a large group, of course. The swampy terrain of the Mississippi River, just a few blocks from the French Quarter, lends to the rumors of tourists picking bones right out of the ground from what was, at one time, a graveyard. As we walked the guided tour, we came across the mansion that actor Nicolas Cage had purchased in the early 2000s and was rumored to have left because of hauntings and violence that manifested itself in physical interactions while he and his family slept. Much like the Donald Trump presidency was hounded by the media to the point that after 4 years, most average Americans just wanted a break from what they perceived to be a chaotic term in office, there was a time in America that everyone seemed to focus their attention on all societal ills stemming from Nicolas Cage lookalike, Marilyn Manson. Back on November 22nd of this year, Marilyn Manson released his first full-length album after 4 years, called One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1, in large part because of rumored addiction problems, but also lawsuits concerning allegations of severe abuse from several of his past associates and intimate partners. Essentially, he was canceled and dropped by his management, record label, and various concert venues. And with his former bandmates scattered, one of the biggest issues that made him the lightning rod for controversy in his heyday was the Columbine school shooting. Manson has claimed this several times in different interviews for his demise as America's boogeyman, and really someone who was able to capture the minds of students all across America. One of his most famous interviews came in the wake of the massacre as a guest on the Michael Moore documentary Bowling for Columbine, in which Manson suggested that while the shootings were taking place here, America and the American president Bill Clinton were dropping more bombs on foreign land than at any other time during that period. But with Manson featured in this documentary and essentially claiming his innocence by removing himself as the scapegoat for the, quote, gun epidemic in America, he is most well known for an album that he recorded with Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails while staying in New Orleans. Of course, those two are known to have had a falling out, as well as America with the idea of singular rock stars being scapegoats for every known problem, but especially firearms, when it comes to the liberal worldview of being something more than a tool, something more than the prescription drug crisis, an actual one, or the personal responsibility of parents. And this is no more evident today than in a place like New Orleans, known for its decadent nightlife and 24-hour everything, where the local 6th District Police Department have decided to essentially invoke federal crime laws by claiming the police station as a school zone. The law states that no firearms are allowed within 1,000 feet of a school district, thereby making it illegal to carry in the French Quarter and on Bourbon Street. For myself, I can recall walking the quarter with my wife and being approached by an individual slow dancing his way over to us in a cheerful manner and asking me where I got my shoes. While most out-of-towners might say the store or mention a specific store, I simply said I got them on my feet and kept walking, grabbing my wife's hand as we picked up pace. Now, if it wasn't for the guided tour manager informing us of this correct answer, the rumor is that the man would have taken our shoes and robbed us of everything we had on the spot. Now, maybe one of the most disingenuous things about the upfront political discourse around the proverbial water cooler these days is to say that your side caused all the issues, everything from inflation to gas prices, and not mine. Certainly Joe Biden himself hasn't helped, but he isn't the root cause, as we've seen with opportunistic governors and local politicians across the country using this as a chance to further fundraise and not address the actual problems of things like domestic violence. But in fact, it was probably much more genuine to attack rock singers as the culprit in the mid-90s, because that is what everyone was keyed into. Not the love affair between Bill Clinton and China, not the foreign wars, or his wife. And what we're left with now is politics as a sport, a spectator sport that doesn't require much thinking, just sporting the colors of your team, pointing at the screen when the offense jumps off sides, and with whole Sundays being dedicated to diversionary activities, only to place the blame and frustration the rest of the week on woke Hollywood, or in the case of a Marilyn Manson album, Hollywood. The name of that concept album invoking imagery not unlike the woke mind virus and actual ones that cause necrosis and gangrene from addicts sleeping in the street, addicts addicted to drugs coming in from Mexican cartels via the CCP, and of a celebrity who becomes president. It's almost as if someone was an unwilling participant of MK Ultra. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for listening. Hope you check out that report. Give the James Anthony Report a follow and support our sponsors over at JamesAnthonyReport.com. Talk soon.
Go to JamesAnthonyReport.com or click the link in the description to support our sponsors. James Anthony Report was made possible by garbage-ass people like you. Thank you.